Hi, Pat Doherty here at IMG Bollettieri Tennis Academy in Bradenton, Florida. I'm with Naomi Totka today, a 15-year-old Hungarian who's been training here a few years, and she's showing her signature sick kick, as she calls it. What we're doing with Naomi is we are trying to give her a very versatile, strategic attack with her serve. So much of the game today is built around what you get done on the serve and building combinations right off the serve, that what we're using this kick, her being a left-hander, she already has an advantage over the righties because there's not as many lefties, and using spin further capitalizes on the value of being a lefty. So we've worked a lot on getting this kick to develop, and she's doing quite well with it, being able to hit even the most aggressive targets I can put out there. One of the things that is hard for players to first understand is that balls that land as short as that cone is are the ones that they swing the hardest on, not the ones they back off. You'll never get this cone if you back off the ball and try to guide it there. If you do manage to get it over that way, it's not going to be worth much in the context of winning that point probably anyway. So you have to really be aggressive and swing hard to get enough spin on the ball to get this thing to get over that net and down that quickly. The other thing she's got to do is she's got to get real quick trajectory up. You can't have it slope out too much on the trajectory or you'll never get it up and down over that net. So there's a certain way she's carving this to get that angle over the net and down that fast. The other thing she's doing here is she's trying to actually position the ball in such a way that it disguises it, makes it look like every other serve she hits. She's actually just bending around it this way, sticking the racket in and trying to come up this way across the ball to get that spin effect happening. So it's well disguised. The opponent's looking at the toss once it's up in the air and not looking at her bending around it. So a lot of times they don't see it coming, but she's already got a reputation now for this, so everybody expects to see it at some point. You can see it's a really soft sounding ball. She's using a full continental grip here, maybe even a bit over towards an Eastern backhand grip to cut this kind of spin. What I've taught her to do is that, it's a lot easier for a golfer just to change the club if they want a different effect on the shot, like more spin, more height, than it is to change their swing. So what we're doing through the grip here is she's essentially coming over like a golfer who would pull out a loft wedge to really cut and roll the ball back on the green. And so by playing with the grip, she can get the sound that she wants, the spin production she wants, without all that extra depth that puts it into the alley. It's a matter of getting around that ball enough to hit it inside out topspin. That's all a kick is. She used to be a real long arm server, so she's kind of she's tempted to want to extend that arm out, and that also causes some mishits. So show them the drill that we do for that. So I like her to get really quick speed. Notice how compact her arm is as she's doing that. Okay, go ahead. You can see once you start to change that, spin and power work proportionately. So when you start allocating all your effort towards spin production, it does take the depth out of the shot, and it'll take the ball speed down too. But this is a touch shot. This isn't about how fast she can hit it to this target. It's about hitting the target. And it's such an extreme angle that it doesn't really matter how fast it really travels. It's way off the court. And if it does come back, she's got that other corner wide open to close off of. So this is setting up a great combination to feature both her serve and her forehand. See, that's definitely done the job. That was at half court depth, half of the service box depth. It's plenty. That was at 1/4 of the service box depth. So all those are effective. So remember, where depth is a real measure of your ground strokes, depth on the serve limits your ability, because again, what we're looking at here, if you have trouble getting your ball down shorter than this, then you run out of court when you get this wide. That means all these will be out here if you start trying to go up the sideline. And when you put a target where we have that cone here, and you think of the distance between that ball And this one, it's almost twice the size of the serve box the way it's painted. So she's able to use all this area here, which fans out huge when it gets back to the baseline depth. So you have to give something up. There's not a returner out there who can cover this much ground. So they have to try to read. That's why disguise is so important. If she gives them that edge by giving it away, by throwing it over her back and behind her head this way to create this, then they're going to get an early jump on it. So we've learned how to keep that in the realm with the other ball positions for her slice and her flats so that it doesn't signal, here comes that kick you've been afraid of. So this is a great way to not only beat them with something that sets up a great combination, but I mean, this will keep you fresh all day long if you can have this much room to attack. So there's the sixth kick. Get out there and work on it. All you have to do is put in the time. You can do it. You can learn it just like Naomi. Remember that name, Naomi Totka. You'll see her in a couple years.